Yes, we are in Demai.
Okay. We should be in
Sein Gimel.
Zion Gimel. That's exactly where I am. A laborer does not trust the employer. He takes one dried fig and declares, "This and 9 after it are rendered Misa for the 90 that I eat." This is rendered Truma Misa for them, and the last of Misa Sheni, and is redeemed with money. And he saves one dried fig. And Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says, "Let him not save because it induces his work for the employee." Rabbi Yossi says, "Let him not save because it is a condition stipulated by the court."
Rabbi Yossi effectively is agreeing with the Tanakama, saying that it's on the owner that he has it's on the owner on the employer. If the employer is not Neman, then the employee is allowed to not eat one fig as a Tanai based in. Okay.
If one buys wine among Kusin, then he declares 2 logs which I shall separate are Truma, and 10 Misa and 9 Misa Sheni. He redeems and drinks.
Okay, now the important thing here is that when you're buying from a kusi, instead of when you're buying from an amaretz, you tithe it as demai, which means you only have to take maser, chumas maser.
Right.
But when you're buying from a kusi, then since they don't hold by lifnei iver, then they could be selling you complete tevel. So we
Right.
assume that anything that you buy from a kusi is in fact tevel. So you have to take truma gedola as well.
Mhm. One had several figs in his house, and it was in the house of study in the field. He says, 2 figs which I shall separate are Tuma, and pages don't open up. Truma and 10, Maisa Rishon and 9, Maisa Sheni. If there were Demai, he declares, "What shall I separate tomorrow in Maisa?" And adjoining it is the rest of the Maisa, that which I have hindered. Maisa is rendered Truma Maisa for it, and Maisa Sheni in the north and in the south of it, and is redeemed with money.
Right, so this is what he's doing. This is basically Erev Shabbos. He's not going to have time to go and physically separate
Right.
everything. So he can actually make the declaration before, and do the separation verbally, so that all that it lacks is taking out the portions that he's going to eat.
Uh,
So
uh,
and he leaves behind the portion that he's not going to that he's not that is truma. Okay. Mishna Vav, Hayu lefanav shtei kalkalos shel tevel. So he has an interesting case. I don't know why anyone would want to do what's in this Mishnah, but it's really to prove the principle of what's going to happen in such a circumstance. Okay, so Hayulafanav shtei kalkalos shel tevel. He's got 2 baskets of untithed produce. Vadai tevel. Okay, we're no longer talking about Demai here. But Amar, Masras zo bezo. So if he says on basket A that its masters are taken from basket B, Arishona Moseres, and A is considered Maser, and he's declared all of its Maser and Truma from. So we're talking here about if we're talking about if we can be medaic on the lashon and say that this is talking only about Maser because it's produce that's already had Truma Gedola taken from it. So then we're really looking at the Maser Rishon and the Trumas Maser, and we're saying, okay, so that's in basket B. Or you could say that it's not, that the lashon is not meduyak, that it's also including Truma Gedola. So the different Rishonim who learn it differently. Anyway, the point being that this is a normal case, and there's no big chiddush in the beginning of the Mishnah, but it comes and increases the case to show us, to bring us the real chiddush. Okay, shel zo bezo, shel zo bezo. What happens now if he says, but if the masters of basket A are in basket B and the masters of basket B are in basket A? If he says such a thing, well, what happens is that as soon as he says that the masters of basket A are in basket B, then basket A becomes mitukan. And if he now says that the masters of basket B are in basket A, then it doesn't work, because you can't take chumas and masters from something that's mitukan or something that's tevel.
right. Okay.
So this doesn't work. All that happens is Harishanim Ilseris. Only the first one is Masid. The second one was a meaningless statement. Okay. However, if he makes the statement Mastros same Mastros Masros kalkala b'chaverta. If he says this one, these two baskets of Masros, they are taken each basket from its companion, and then he's saying everything at once. So Kara Hashem. Now what he's done is he has officially declared that the Maseh for basket A is in basket B and basket B is in basket A. So now he has to separate them out, each one taking for the other one, and that actually is effective. Okay, because it was all chal at once.
That's right.
Which is interesting because if you recall, there was another case. So this reminds me of another Mishnah that we learned, where it was in Korbanos. It was somewhere in the Korbanos where he was declaring there was a pregnant cow or a pregnant animal, and he made a declaration that he says if he says the mother is going to be a shlamim and the child is going to be an ola. So then we said that there was a machlokes between Rabbi Yossi, I think it was Rabbi Yossi, and Rabbi Meir, and it was Rabbi Meir said that as soon as he says the words, the mother becomes shlamim, and therefore the child becomes shlamim. The fetus becomes shlamim with the mother.
With the mother.
Yes. Okay. And therefore his second statement is meaningless. Whereas Rabbi Yossi says that if he had intention to say them all in one shot, then it does work because his das was to separate between them, and we said if he thought about it later and said no, and the child is going to be an ola if it's a male. So we said that, and we said that if he reconsidered later, then we agree with Rabbi Meir that it's that it's not chal. The second one is not chal. But if he had das beforehand to say one and the other as two separate things, then how else was he going to say it if he wanted to do them separately? So we said that actually we did separate his words. However, in this basket over here, we're saying that his words stay the same. His first words are chal. So if he says shel zo bezo shel zo bezo, as soon as he said the first shel zo bezo, it's chal in the first, and the first basket becomes mitzukan, and it doesn't work. So maybe we'll say that this is only according to the one opinion of that other Mishnah. I don't know. Kahati doesn't make any connection between the two over here. And when we do chazara on that, I don't know if this was in Zavachim or if it was in it was somewhere else in Kodshim. So we'll have to keep our eyes out when we get back to Kodshim for this for that Mishnah and refer it back to Demai. Okay, Mishnah Zayin Mea Tevel Mea Chulin. Now, here we have this Mishnah is going to give us a whole bunch of mixtures of accidents happened, and now we want to know how to fix the accident. So you got 100 parts of tevel, untithed produce, completely untithed produce, mea chulin, and 100 parts of completely tithed produce. How is he going to fix this mess? He's going to have to take chuma and maaseh from this lot over here. But the problem is, let's take a look at how much actually has to be taken. The mea chulin is mitzukan already, so that portion is fine. It's the mea tevel that we're worried about, and in order to fix the tevel, we're going to have to take out 10 parts of Maaser Rishon, but the Maaser Rishon he's going to be able to eat himself, and the only thing that we have to worry about the Truma Gedola, which is a very small portion, which is 2 parts out of the 100 is the Truma Gedola, and there's the Trumas Maaseh, which is one part out of the remaining 100. So how do we fix this? The problem is that if he just takes out 3 parts out of this 200, then it's possible that all 3 parts are coming out of the chulin, which is not going to help us. So we're going to make sure that nothing that comes out of here is from the chulin. By the way, that's Tavel Rak Lemaser. The Kati explains that this tevel over here has already had Truma Gedola taken out of it. So all we need to get is the Trumas Maser. So we just need one part of Trumas Maser to come out of this lot. Okay. But the Meir Chulin is the problem, that he can't that if he just takes one part out of the 200, it could be Chulin. So he has to make sure that he's taken definitely out of the tevel, and the only way to do that is to take out 101, not tell Meir Echad, because that's the only way he can be certain that at least one part of this mixture is coming from the tevel. And then so he takes out the 101 and says that the tevel, wherever it is inside here, is Trumas Maser, and then he can sell that to the Kohen at Truma prices, except for the one part that is Magir to him. So he's got 101 parts, and he sells it to him for the price of 100 units of Truma. Okay, that way he can make sure that his remaining 99 he can eat. Okay, next case, Meya Tevel Meya Maser. He's got 100 parts of untithed produce and 100 parts of Maser Rishon. Now that sounds like it's going to be more lenient, because Maser Rishon is all edible for himself, but that Maser Rishon still has to take up Trumas Maser. So from 100 parts of Maser Rishon, you have to take out how many parts of Trumas Maser? 10. Right, because 10% of it has to be Trumas Maser. Okay, so from the tevel he has to take out one part of Truma of Trumas Maser, and from the Maser itself he has to take out 10 parts. Okay, but nonetheless he only has to take out Me'ah ve'echad. Why is that? Because as soon as he takes out 100 parts from this mixture. So in the worst case, he's taken it all from the tevel. Okay. So now let's say all of these 101 parts are from the 100 parts from the tevel and one part from the maser. So he's going to say, okay, so if this is all tevel, then 1/10 of this is going to be maser rishon. Okay. So the Maser Rishon is so the Maser Rishon. Now we need to take one part of Trumas Maser from this, okay, and then now that this is all Maser Rishon, so it all joins together, because the other part that he's taken is also Maser Rishon. So now you've got 100, you've got 11 Maser Rishon in there somewhere. At least 11 Maser Rishon in there, and you can say, okay, so now 11 of those are now called Trumas Maser, because you've got 10 from the 100 and one from the other 100, which needs to have Trumas Maser. So now you've got 11 parts. You've definitely got 11 parts of Truma inside there, and the remaining 90 he can sell to the Kohen at Truma prices. Okay. Then it carries on, Me'ah chulin metukanim Me'ah maser. Now what happens if you've got chulin completely metukan mixed with maser? Okay, now he's got to take Me'ah ve'eser. He's got to take 110, because he's going to need from the chulin. He's got to take, first of all, the whole chulin can't participate in this whole exercise. So he's got to take out the 100 chulin in order to make sure that he's got at least 10 of the maser, and then he can declare Trumas Maser Trumas Maser from there. He sells 100 to the Kohen as Truma and gives him 10 for free. Me'ah tevel tishim maser. What happens if he's got 100 tevel and 90 of maser, or tishim tevel ushmonim maser, 90 tevel and 80 maser? Lo yafsid klum. Now he doesn't lose anything, because now the math works out quite nicely for him, because from the 100 tevel he's going to have to separate out at least one. He's going to separate out one of Trumas Maaser, and the Tishim Maaser is going to have to take out nine of Maaser, 9 of Trumas Maaser. So all he has, so in any case, the 9 that he takes out from there, plus the one from the tevil, it means he just has to take out 10. So if he takes out 10 from the mixture, you can say, okay, so worst case he's got 10 tevil in his hand, in which case he says that this is all Maaser Rishon. Now it's all mixed together with the 10 are mixed together with the Tishim Maaser, and now he's got 100 Maaser, and he can take out 10 to be Trumas Maaser, and that 10 he just takes out and gives to the Kohen. Alternatively, if he took all 10 out of the Maaser, then he can say that 9 of them are Trumas Maaser, and the one that's left over is the Trumas Maaser from the 100. So the math works out well for him, and he doesn't lose anything. All he has to do is take out 10 and give it to the Kohen, and he doesn't lose anything. The same goes for the case of 90 and 80, which I'll leave you to work out the math yourself. Zehaklal, the Mishnah says that the general rule calls man tevel meruba lo hefsid klum. If you've got more tevel than maaser, or enough tevel to perform this to do this math, it's not dafka that you've got more. It's not like if you've got 101 and 100 that suddenly things are going to work out. It has to have I think 10% more, and then he doesn't lose anything. Okay, and the final Mishnah in Demai. So we have a diagram over here of a 10 by 10 matrix of jugs of wine. Okay, and the owner of the wine comes and says, okay, well, this is all it's already had Truma Gedola taken on it, and now we just need to declare Trumas Maaser Rishon and Trumas Maaser from the slot. Okay, so ultimately one jug of wine is going to end up being Trumas Maaser. So now he makes a pronouncement, Shura Achitzona Achas Maaser. So he says the outside row is Maaser. And now we don't know which one he was referring to, and either he went on vacation, or he died, or something incapacitated him, and we can't clarify which outside row he was referring to, because it could have been any of the 4 outside rows on either end, north, south, east, or west. We don't know which outside row he was referring to. So notel shtei chavios lochsan. So you take two of the jugs from the outside, from the corners, either on corner Aleph or to take one from corner Aleph, or one from corner Gimel, and that way he's covered 2 rows because it's a corner piece. So either way, you can say that. So you take these 2 jugs and say, okay, so whichever one he was referring to, the Trumas Maaser is the other jug, is that jug. And he can take the 2 jugs to the coin and say, pay me Truma price for the one, and the other one is for you. So the coin gets a good deal on that. Okay. Now, what happens if the owner phrased it differently? Chatzi shura chitzona achas maaser. It says half a row on the outside is maaser, and we don't know which half row he's referring to. Okay, it could be talking about halfway from Aleph to base, halfway from Aleph to Daled, halfway from Daled to Aleph. So there are 8 possibilities over here. So now how does he fix it? So now how do the people left behind fix this up? And notel arba chavios me arba zavios. You take all 4 corner jugs, and that way you cover it, and you make sure. So half of each jug is potentially Trumas Maaser, because you want a half for the 5 jugs that he's declared to be Maaser over there. Shura achas Maaser. Now, if he doesn't specify on the outside, he just says 1 row is Maaser. And we don't know which row he's talking about. It could be a north-south row, it could be an east-west row. So notel shura achas lochsan. Then you take an entire diagonal from Aleph to Gimel, and each jug on there is potentially Trumas Maaser. If he declares half a row to be maser, and now we don't know which one is chumas maser. So then he's got to take both of the diagonals and take all of those jugs there, and somewhere inside there is half a jug that is chumas maser, and he has to sell. He sells the rest to the coin as at truma prices.
You said he was going from Aleph to Gimel?
Yeah, see, from Aleph to Gimel is a diagonal, and from base to Dalet is a
Right.
diagonal.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
If he says chavis achas maser, if he declares only one jug to be maser, and you don't know which one it is, notel mikol chavis v'chavis. Now you have no choice. You have to go into every jug and take out chumas maser from every single jug. Okay, and therein lies the lesson. When you make declarations like that, make sure you're clear about it. Hadjan alach maseches demai.
Okay. Now we're going to be doing Peah or Kalayim?
Demai, go back to Demai. Hey, are you okay? By the way, you seem very tired.
I am tired. I'm dizzy.
If you are you okay to continue? If you want to,
Yeah, no, I'm dizzy from this thing. But are we going when we finish? We're going to doing because
So tomorrow we start Kilayim.
Kalayim. That's what I thought. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Dalad.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. I'm sorry, I have my finger on the page. The wrong covers my check mark. All right. For, if one buys from the poor, so too, if a poor man is given pieces of bread or fragments of fig cake, he must tithe each one. But in the case of dates and dried figs, he may mix them together and take. Rabbi Yehuda says when the gift is large. But when the gift is small, he separates the tithe from each case, each one. If one buys from a wholesaler and then buys again, he should not separate tithes from one to the other, not even at the same container, not even at the same kind. The wholesaler may be believed when he says they are from one. When one buys from a field owner and brought from him again, he may tithe from one for the other, even if the two baskets, even from two towns. If a field owner was selling vegetables in the market, he may bring them from his garden. He may tithe them for one for all. If others for gardens, he must tithe one for each one. Okay.
Okay. Peah Alefav.
Kalayim, correct? Gonna wait till tomorrow. Kalayim.
We're doing Peah first. Peah Alefav.
Say Aleph Vav.
Yeah, Peah Alefav. Make sure you got the right Masechta there.
Yeah, Peah.
Yeah.
I just took my thing out. Aleph Vav. Okay. Okay. The one always gives payah and is exempt. Right. One always gives payah and is exempt from the maisaros until it is evened. And he may give it as hefka, and he may accept it from the maisaros until it is evened. And he may feed the cattle with wild birds and birds that are exempt from the maisaros until it is evened. And he may take from the granary and may sow and it is exempt from the maisaros until it is evened. So says Rabbi Akiva. If a priest and a Levite purchase a threshing floor, the maestros are those until it is even. And if a person concentrates and redeems, he's liable maestros until the treasure evens. And these form a division regarding payah, the brook and the channel and the private way, and the public way and the public path, and the private path that is permanent for the sunny season and for the rainy season, and the uncultivated and the plowed field and another seed. If a person reaps for fodder, he forms it a division, so Rabbi Meir, and the comments say he does not form a division unless he plowed. The water conduit, which cannot be redeemed as one, Rabbi Ruda says it forms a division, and all the hills that were then dug with the matik, even though the cattle cannot pass with it, with his implements, he gives it pay up for the whole.
Okay, Nida.
My wife has to go to the dentist today. So it's like an hour and a half, a 2-hour appointment. And
Wow.
She takes the gas. We both take the gas. I like
Yeah.
that. So I was going to ask him if it would be okay, since I'm going to be there, if he could just put me in a chair and just give me the gas while he works on my wife, and just let me go to sleep and just,
That sounds like a good plan.
you know. I'm sure he won't let me though. That's the only thing. Okay. So we say Kalayim.
And we're neither first and neither Hayvav.
I'm really on the ball here. Okay. Um, Gimel. Can.
No, Hayvav. Yeah.
Hey Bob. Boy, I'm really off.
You're
Okay.
in neither, right?
Um, yeah, I'm in need of hey Bob. Why is this messed up? This is messed up. Years old and one day who cohabitates.
Hold on a second. You're in the wrong one. Yeah, I think you're like one Mishnah off. We're
One
talking
moment.
about a girl who is 11 in one day.
A girl who was 11. I don't know why this is messed up. I have no idea. A girl who was 11 years and one day old, her vows are examined. A girl who is 12 years old and one day old, her vows stand. And a girl vows and examined her, and a girl's vows are examined her entire 12th year. A boy who was 12 and one day old, his vows are examined. A boy who was 13 and one day old, his vows stand. And a boy's vows are examined his entire 13th year. Before this time, even if they say we know unto whom we vowed, or we know unto whom we consecrated, their vows are not valid vows, and their consecrations are not valid consecrations. After this time, even if I say we do not know unto whom we vowed, or we do not know unto whom we consecrated, their vows are valid vows, and their consecrations are valid consecrations.
Right. So during the 12th year for a girl or the 13th year for a boy, they start with the chazaka of not having valid vows. But as soon as we check them out and we discover that they know what they're doing, we don't check them again. From then on, their vows are valid,
Uh,
even before bar mitzvah.
The
Yeah.
Gurkhaman created a metaphor for the developmental stages of a woman: a green fig, a small fig, and a semel. At the stage when she is likened to a green fig, she is still a child. The stage of a small fig alludes to the days of her naris period. During both this stage and that stage, her father is entitled to her fines and that her earnings and to the annulment of her vows. Semel alludes to the stage of full adulthood. Once she reaches full adulthood, her father has no longer authority over her. What are her signs? Yossi Agili says a crease forms under the breast, when a crease crosses under the breast. Rabbi Akiva says from when the breast hang down. Azai says from when areola darkens. Rabbi Yossi says from the breast is large enough that one shall put his hand on the nipple and it sinks in and delays returning to its original position.
I think we said we count all of these opinions lechumra in whichever direction it goes.
Uh,
Okay. Next,
Next one.
Kalim. Yud Aleph Ches.
Where's my kid? Here it is. Aleph. Test. A helmet is tame, but cheek guards are tahor. If the cheek guards have a receptacle for water, they are tame. All implements of war are tame. A kidron, a spearhead, greaves, and a coat of mail are tame. All women's jewelry is tame. A city of gold, chokers, earrings, and finger rings are finger rings where there is a signet or where it does not have a signet, or nose rings. Regarding a choker whose beads are of metal and strung on a linen or wooden thread, even if the thread snap, the beads are tame, since each one by itself is a utensil. Regarding a metal thread that was strung with beads of precious stones, pearls, or glass, all the beads broke and the threads alone remains intact. The thread is tame. The remnant of a choker is the width of a neck size of a young girl. Rebellia says even if one bead remains, it is tame, since people hang it around the neck. Regarding an earring that is shaped like a pot at its lower and like a lentil at its top, and it came apart. The section resembling a pot is tummy because it is a utensil with an receptacle, and the lentil-shaped section is tummy by itself. However, the hook is tahor. An earring that was made like a cluster of grapes and it came apart is tahor. And a ring of a person is tummy, but the ring of an animal or of utensils and all other types of rings are tahor. Beams for arrows is tummy, but a beam for prisoners is tahor. The cellar is tummy. The collar
Yeah.
is tummy. The chain has a locking device is tummy, but one made for tying is tahor. The chain of merchants is tummy, but a chain of household is tahor. Rabbi Yossi says when is this so? When it comes of only one link, but if it consists of two links or a kilzon was attached to its end, it is tummy.
Okay.
Because the kilzon, they're talking about the snail. Yeah.
And then it's a part of the ornament. It's not the living creature. We're talking about
The
part of the
ornament.
metal ornament. It's shaped like a snail. Baba Basra Yud Zayin.
If there were two brothers, one poor and one wealthy, and their father left them a bathhouse or an olive press, if he had made them for renting, the rent is divided. If he made it for themselves, the wealthy one can say to the poor one, acquire servants and let them bathe in the bathhouse. Acquire olives and come process them with me in the olive press. Two people in the same town, both named Yosef and Shimon, cannot produce a document of indebtedness against each other, nor can another produce a document of indebtedness against them. If one found among the smaller one is not considered paid. One who lends to another through a guarantee may not collect from the guarantor, and if he said, on condition that I collect from whomever I wish, he may collect from the guarantor. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamil says, in either case, if the borrower has property, he may not collect from the guarantor. Similarly, Reb Shimon does something. Reb Shimon ben Gamil says if one was the guarantor of a woman's ketubah and her husband was divorcing her, he must vow not to derive any further benefit from her and prevent them from plotting against this one's property and then remarrying. One who lends another money with a document collects for mortgage payments with witnesses. He collects only from available properties, and if he produces handwritten note that he is indebted to him, he collects only from available properties. A guarantor appears below the documents signatures. He collects only from available properties. His case came before Rabbi Ishmael, and he said he collects only from available properties. Rabbi Nana said to him, he collects neither from mortgage properties nor from available properties. He said to him, why? He said to him, if someone was choking someone in the room, in the street, and another encountered him and said, let him alone, he is exempt, because he did not lend him due to his trust in him. Rather, which is a guarantor who is liable? He said, lend it to him, I will give you, he is liable, because he lent him due his trust in him. Said Rabbi Ishmael, one who wishes to become wise should involve himself in the study of monetary laws, as there are no branch of Torah greater than them, because they are like a welling fountain. And one who wishes to involve himself in monetary laws should serve Shimon ben Nanas.
Adon Alach Maseches Baba Basra. And we get one Mishnah from Sanhedrin.
Aleph?
Yeah.
Monetary cases are judged by three. Cases of theft and bodily injury are judged by three. Claims for full damages and half damages. Twofold compensation, fourfold or fivefold compensation are judged by three. Claims against a rapist, a seducer, or defamer are judged by three. And these are the words of Reb Meir. However, the sages say claims against defamers are judged by 23 because they involve a capital charge.
Because if it goes the other way, then the woman could be executed if she has witnesses that she did in fact commit adultery. Okay.
Yoma.
Finally, Yoma. Yeah. Okay. Ches Aleph.
On Yom Kippur, eating, drinking, washing one's body, anointing one's body with oil, wearing shoes, and cohabitation are prohibited. The king and queen may wash their faces, and a new mother may put on shoes. These are the words of Rabbi Elazar. But the Chachamim prohibit this. Okay. That's it. Right?
Two more. No, two more. We just did one then.
There's one more. There's one more. That's what I said. One who eats the volumes of a large date, like it and its pit, who drinks the volume of both his full cheeks, is liable for punishment. All foods combine for the volume of a date, and his drinks combine for the volume of his cheeks full. His food and drink do not combine. And
Gimel.
If one ate and drank in a single period of forgetfulness, he is liable for only one sin offering. If one ate and did work on Yom Kippur, he is liable for two sin offerings. If one ate foods that are not fit consumption and drank liquids unfit consumption, for example, he drank brine and salted fish fats, he is not liable for a sin offering. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm really a little bit off, but
I'm also sorry. Yeah, I can